Hi, I'm Dr. Rob. I'm taking over the Wellness Lab this week, and we're going to be looking at arch pain today. So I have Cheyenne here, and what we're going to be doing is going through an evaluation of what we would do with someone who had arch pain. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be looking at the height of the arches. So I'll have her with shoes and socks off, and slide my fingers underneath the arch right here. Someone with a really flat arch, my fingers would be to about here because the arch is in contact with the ground. Her arch is pretty normal. I can get my fingers into about, the middle of the foot right here. So next thing we're actually going to look at is how well the foot moves. So I'm going to have you lay on your back. And what we're going to do is first I'm going to bend the foot up. Any tension with that?
No.
What about if I bend your toes?
A little.
A little bit? Feel the back of the leg?
Yeah.
Now I'm really looking at calf tension with that one, how much that's going to pull on the foot. Next one, I'm going to bring the foot forward. Any problem with this one?
No.
Or if I roll the toes?
No.
Okay, so people who are prone to shin splints, that one will be positive on them. We're going to have a lot of tightness through these muscles right here. So the next thing we would always look at with people is whether or not they have something called a Morton's toe. And what that is when the second toe is longer than the big toe right here. When you're walking, when you go to push off and step forward, you're going to push off the longest toe. So these people have a tendency to kind of roll the foot out a little bit. Can cause some foot issues, knee issues, hip issues, things like that. We're going to take a quick break. Raney's Fitbit is up next.
Hi, I'm Raney. Welcome to the Fitbit of the Week. This week we're talking about foot pain. So I want to go over 3 different things that you can do for foot and ankle mobility. So we're not only going to cover the foot in this one, we're also going to cover the ankle a little bit too. Only because your foot pain, or maybe you do have a little ankle pain, can be caused from many different things. So the first thing maybe that you should do would be to check with one of our doctors and see what might be causing the pain, whether you might be a runner and you have plantar fasciitis, which is tightness through the bottom of your foot, or maybe you just do have limited mobility in your ankle and it's causing pain in different areas, or maybe you just need your foot adjusted, which can be done also. So let's start here with the first thing. So we're going to use a lacrosse ball. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, you can also use a tennis ball. But what we're going to do with this is kind of like a massage. So what we're going to do is loosen up the muscles and the tendons because they're very tight, especially with plantar fasciitis. So what you're going to do is just set the ball down on the floor and then kind of step on it. So if you need to hang on to something, stand next to a wall or whatever, but you're just going to roll it across, putting some of your weight down. You're rolling it across your arch where it's going to maybe hurt a little bit because it's very tight. If standing is putting too much pressure and it is hurting a lot, what you can do is get down so that you're sitting and then do the same thing so that you're just not putting all of your weight down on it at once. It'll just kind of be a little easier on the muscles. Also, now if you are having limited mobility in your ankle, it can be caused from tightness through the calf, or if you have issues like with your Achilles tendon when you run too, this is a good one to do. So what you're going to do is put the ball right below your calf muscle. You're going to have to lift yourself up a little bit so that it will roll all the way across the muscle. And then you're just going to kind of go side to side, get all the way through there, so that it can release the tension. Maybe you have a knot or just some kind of adhesion there that you just need to release, just like that. All right, and then obviously you would do it on the other foot or calf as well. So the next thing is ABCs. So this is more for ankle mobility. So what I'm going to do is sit here in the chair for this one. You're just going to sit down, and then for whichever foot or ankle may be super tight, Basically, you're just drawing your ABCs with your foot. So start with the A, then move to the B, then move to the C, D, all the way through. So basically what's happening is you're having to move that ankle in so many different random directions, that you're gonna strengthen those ligaments, tendons, everything around the ankle, but also get some increased mobility in there as well. So you're moving it around as much as you can. All right, the last thing here is a little more difficult. This is called a short foot exercise. So this is gonna strengthen your arches, so right through the middle of your foot. And I drew a picture here only because it's a little more complicated to show. So what's happening is you're gonna stand on one foot again, stand close to something if you feel like you might fall over. You're gonna press your toes and your heels down, or your toes and your heel down at the same time. So that is causing a raise in the arch. So as these two are going down, your arch is raising up and you're strengthening all those tendons through there in the middle. And you're gonna feel kind of a pull as you do that. Like I said, it is a little more complicated, so it'll take a little practice to get used to that one. But yeah, so as you can tell, like all of these, pretty simple to do. You know, you can do them at home. You can do them sitting at your desk. If your feet tend to hurt at work, you know, if you're standing too much or whatever it may be. So they're pretty simple to do, so you can do them just about anywhere. But yeah, that's been this week's Fitbit, and we'll see you next time.
So some of the potential things that can cause some of these foot problems, you know, if we have bad fitting shoes, or either shoes that are worn out, that can put a lot of strain on different joints of the body, including the feet. If people have really high arches, some people wear an orthotic with that, which actually puts more strain on the arch. So a lot of those people, we actually have to take arch supports out of their shoes. But with a flat arch, I mean, with something like that, having like an orthotic built up for you to really support the arch is going to make things easier. Arch pain also, you can see things like plantar fasciitis causing it, where it's just a thickening of the ligament on the bottom of the foot, and that just requires getting kind of stretched out. But in some cases, in like active populations, we could see stress fractures as well from people essentially just doing too much on their feet. High heels, for example, it's essentially the toes are bent forward here, and then the heel is raised. So what that's going to do, that's going to put a lot of strain in through here, cause more strain at the knee, can even cause some rotation of the pelvis. But people, or shoes that have a really narrow toe box, what that does is kind of squeeze the toes together right here. We'll see people get bunions that form right here. So it's usually just, we're almost like training the foot to turn into this position. Bunion is usually what happens as a side effect of that. So ways that we would treat different sort of foot problems, arch pain, things like that, depending on what the specific cause is. In her case, for one thing, the foot, when we bring this up, gets really tight, and you can't just bring these back. So this is something where we would definitely want to work on the muscles of the calf, and we'd probably want to adjust the foot right here to get these joints moving a little bit better. So if it's a plantar fasciitis kind of an issue, we're doing soft tissue work at the bottom of the foot, stretching that out. Laser also works really well with that. If this was somebody with a really low arch, we do custom orthotics in the office where we essentially make a mold of your foot, then kind of build the orthotic based on what you need. The PDF we have for this week is different exercises and stretches we have for the foot. Visit WellnessLab.tv for that information.
To submit a question, watch a past episode, or to find out more about the Springfield Wellness Center, check us out on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or find us on Instagram, or check out our show website at WellnessLab.tv.